Like you smell apples or that's apples, but no, it's just like an air freshener. So your senses can be fooled, right?
That happens to me.
Yeah. So
I thought I had like underwear on it and I just walked around.
So you can't totally rely on your senses, right? So how do you know your clothes exist?
Because I think they do.
Because you think they do. But the only thing you know for sure, the only thing you can know for sure is that you exist because you think. So here's the real kick.
And there's a mirror.
How do you know the mirror's there?
Because I can see it.
But can't your sight be full too? Have you ever heard of a mirage?
I mean,
a mirage is something
yeah.
that you think you see, but it's not actually
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So your eyes can be fooled too, right? Sometimes. Okay, but sometimes you see things that don't actually happen. Like you saw me earlier kicking the wall when I didn't actually kick the wall, right?
Right.
What?
So your eyes can be fooled.
That can be like an illusion.
Exactly, an illusion. So your eyes can be fooled. So how do you know your eyes are telling the truth?
You're confusing me.
Yeah, you're confusing everybody.
Okay, now how do you know Matthew exists?
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know Matthew exists. You can only assume he exists.
How do you know if you exist?
No, maybe.
How do you know if you exist?
I think, therefore I am. But how do I know you exist and I'm not just talking to a figment in my imagination? Maybe I'm just schizophrenic and I'm just seeing everybody around me. Okay, schizophrenic means I see people who aren't actually there. That's what that means.
My mom did that before.
Your mom was...
Oh, and just like your,
Okay,
Mama. No, your grandma.
She thought she saw grandma.
But that was an illusion to her.
That's different.
A
That's
mirror
an illusion.
trick.
Schizophrenic is when you actually have conversations with these people and they're as real as Matthew to you, but they're not there.
I think
for
I've done
anybody
that
else.
before.
Well, no, not like an imaginary friend.
No.
It's like you can actually like see them
Like I
and
see
talk
it.
to them.
Like
you see me, like you can touch me, like you can interact with me.
Why are you Abraham Lincoln?
Exactly. Okay, so you know you exist.
Yes. Yes. Say yes.
Well, do you know you exist? How do you know you exist?
No.
Because you think.
Because you think.
Thank you.
So just...
And I have a brain, so that means
How do you know you have a brain?
existing.
All you know is you can think. You don't know if you have a brain or not.
If you can't think,
Maybe
then,
we should cut
then
off
you're
your
not
head
alive.
and see.
If you
How do you know you're
can't
actually
think,
cutting
you're
up
not
your
alive.
head and not... It's
No,
not just
cutting off
like
your head.
That was
cutting off my head. How do you know I'm real? How do you know you can cut my head off?
Is there really blood?
How do you know? Have you seen this before?
In movies?
Okay, so you've seen it in optical illusions on a screen. So how do you... Those movies aren't real, right? Those movies are fake. So how do you know they're real? How do you know that the people are actually there? It's a...
Well, we also
Those
cut
people
up a
are not
brain.
actually in the box.
Gabby and me also cut up a brain too.
How do you know that was actually a brain? How do you know that you actually cut up a brain?
I know what brains look like.
How do you know what a brain is? What's a brain?
It's something that you think.
It's something
How do you know that's where you keep thoughts?
Because that's squishy.
Because
you're disgusting.
You think. What it is?
Because you think. You guys are weird. You don't even know.
Okay, so you know, right? Okay, so
Yay, I'm smart.
how do you know your brain exists?
Because I think.
Okay, so that doesn't really explain why your brain exists.
Because she knows. Because she's smarter than anybody.
Please don't do that on the
Okay,
bed.
so now let's go for the next thing. What is a soul? You hear like church talking about souls and stuff. What's a soul?
It's like your inner body, sort of.
Your inner body, where's your soul?
I mean, like,
It's in your
it's in your
It's in your
heart.
body, where is it?
I don't know.
In your heart, and then
In
it
your
goes
heart?
up to heaven or hell.
Okay, what's it look like?
You can't see it.
You can't see it? Are you sure?
You can.
Only in heaven.
So does it weigh anything?
No.
How do you know?
Because the Bible.
Well, yes, it does.
Oh, the Bible says that the soul weighs nothing?
The soul weighs a ton.
The soul weighs a ton.
No,
Okay,
it's
so
not.
when you die and you go to heaven and your soul goes to heaven, do you weigh less?
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. I don't know.
Yeah, there's actually a study from the scientist that after people died, they weighed less, but just by like a little bit. So he figured that must be the soul leaving the body. So the soul must weigh something. Therefore, people have souls.
So the souls are heavier than your body.
No,
so
they're not
the
heavier than your
souls
bodies.
make
They're
your
just
body
part
heavy.
of your body. It's like if I cut off your arm, you'll be lighter.
Okay,
But how do you know that your arm's there?
Oh my gosh!
Okay, I get this. Your soul is big.
Can I punch him?
Fat, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Can I punch him?
No, you can't punch me. Okay,
Darn it.
so
Boing.
now how do we know God exists?
Okay.
Because we read the Bible.
Because we read the Bible. How do we know the Bible exists?
Because it was true.
Because it's true. Okay, so
Because God made it, you
because
weirdo.
God makes it, but we don't know if God exists yet or not.
I know that God exists.
Oh, you're gonna go to hell for that one.
No, I believe God exists, but how do
I
we know
do.
He exists?
Because the Bible
We know
says so.
Jesus.
Okay, but how do we know the Bible is true?
We know
Because
Jesus is
if you
real.
believe in the Bible, then
Okay, so if you believe in the Bible, you'll go to heaven. What about the people who don't believe in the Bible?
they'll go to hell.
But they don't believe that, do they?
No.
Yeah, some people actually do.
Some people do, but some people don't.
Yeah.
Some people will believe that because we
Like
believe in the
50-50.
Bible, we'll go to hell. But how do we know that God exists?
Because
Can I-
something's telling us in our body.
Something's telling us. Okay, so we have this desire for something greater than ourselves, right?
Right.
Okay, so because we have this desire for something greater than ourselves, we can assume that there's something greater than us out there.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's assume that you are real, your body is real, physically, everything, your arm's there, it's real, we know it's real. Let's assume this. So, how did it get here?
God made it.
Okay, God made it. Okay, so now,
And then it went in
okay, now
the
let's
mother's
assume.
womb.
Okay, now let's assume that we don't know if God exists.
Then we wouldn't
How would
be
it get here? How would it get here without God? What are some people's
No
theories?
way.
No, what's someone name one
Oh,
person's theory?
because they think
different God.
Different
they
gods.
think-
Okay, now let's assume
no, they
there's
think
no
it's-
God. No
they
God,
think
no nothing.
it was an explosion, and then the world became, and then
The Big Bang.
we started at as little bugs, and then we grew
So
into
evolution.
frogs, and then we grew into monkeys, and then
Okay.
we grew into
So evolution. So from nothing into something, kind of like how God created the universe out of nothing
yeah.
into something by breathing life into it.
Right.
But okay, so let's say this Big Bang happened. Boom! Expansion everywhere, right? Because
Right.
when things explode, it expands at an alarming rate. Quarks and anti-quarks. I know you don't know this. I don't really have time to go into detail of quarks and anti. Just know that
We need
they're
a lot of details.
okay. Just imagine basic building blocks. They come together, explode, expand, create matter. Boom,
Right.
boom, boom. Okay, so we have particles all over the place.
Right.
How did the first life come to be then? If everything was just
I know.
lifeless matter.
I know.
Okay, so matter is just building blocks of everything.
I know.
Everything is made out of matter.
I know. I know.
Okay, how do you know? How did life?
Because God made you fat, so you would grow.
What if there's no?
Okay, now we're pretending that there is no God.
Yeah. You
Oh.
said that a million times.
Okay, I didn't know that. Sorry.
You know, one person's theory is that life started at the backs of crystals,
That is stupid.
and that somehow it got electrically charged. Boom, simple like single cell, just like living, and somehow we all evolved out of that single cell.
But they can't recreate it.
They're
Okay,
kind of
great.
stupid.
So well, no, they're actually very brilliant men. They're
I
just misinformed.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's okay, so how
And
did
people
how
think
did
if
we
they
come
have
from?
dyslexia, they think they are monsters.
Some people think that. I would
They're
think. So
demons.
so now let's say okay, so we have Matthew, right? So how did Matthew come to be from a little single cell? How did that happen?
I didn't.
No, we're assuming that it actually happened. We're pretending it happened.
I don't know.
It
Devil
evolved,
did?
right?
A demon?
No, we're assuming there's no spirituality.
People are weird.
I don't know it.
You don't know?
Can we
It's
go
evolution,
brush our
right?
teeth and go
So
to
we're
bed?
pretending evolution is real.
Evolution
How-
is not real
No,
though.
we know it's not.
Pretend.
We're pretending, like how you pretend you're a dog sometimes. We're pretending it's evolution is real.
Well,
Can we please
evolution,
go brush your teeth
if
now?
we're pretending that nothing could have been here.
Okay, but so now let's pretend that evolution worked, right? Well, no, let's pretend that that's how things came to be. How would it work though? So we got the single cell evolving to Matthew. How does that work? Because you're billions and billions and billions of little cells. How did that little cell turn into you?
I don't know, this is stupid.
No, it's not something. It's something to think about. So Some people believe that they started splitting, mutating, turned into bugs, fish, animals, whatever. But how did the fish get out of the water?
Because somebody took it out.
No, because there wasn't anybody but the fish. So how did the
Maybe
fish
a
get out of the
type
water?
of fish would get out of the water.
Maybe.
That's what some people think. Some people think that the fish decided, oh, I'm going to go out there. And so they walked onto land. End of story, right? But how did they breathe? Because they have gills. How did they breathe? If they walked out, they would have died.
And then they become monkeys.
But no, but they wouldn't be able to survive out of the water, right? Because they have gills.
Some
So how
actually
did they-
fish can,
I know
Go
some
out of the
fish,
water.
but we're talking about fish that only live in the water,
like goldfish.
and they're trying to go into land, right?
Like goldfish.
Like goldfish. Like let's say a goldfish is trying to evolve into a land creature, right? And
Right.
so they got legs and they're calling up. They would die from lack of oxygen, right?
Right.
So how would the trait of being able to walk into land be passed down into the next
I
generation?
know. I know how God made it.
Because they're dead. Because they're
We're
dead.
not talking about God.
Okay. So do you see why evolution is like what? Why doesn't it make sense?
Yeah, this is kind of weird.
Okay, now let's go back to what exists.
Okay. I know how God formed us. He started with our inside our body parts, and he started putting our bones together, and then he made our skin and our brain. He made us out of sand, I think. Yeah,
Actually, he made the first man out of dirt.
Yeah,
dirt.
He crafted him out of clay, breathed life into him.
Okay, I have an important question.
Okay.
Is our nose made out of tissue?
No, it's actually something made out of cartilage. Cartilage is kind of like weakened bone that is
Yeah.
very flexible. That's
Yeah.
why you can like bend your nose, and that's why you can also break your nose.
Say that
I
again.
believed her.
It's what?
Cartilage.
That is what?
Cartilage.
That is what?
That is stupid that you get fat.
But no, so
Yeah, you can
so
get fat.
now
from it.
let's jump forward to a man named Plato.
Play-Doh, okay.
Plato means broad. So this was a Greek guy. So he used to be a wrestler. Did you know that?
No.
So he was this wrestler turned philosopher, and so his name actually meant broad because he had super big shoulders, and he had a face that looked like it's been smashed in a couple of times. So he believed that everything was preconceived notion, that we already knew everything. It was in an ideal world, so that's how we know things are it. So let's say this is a phone.
Yes.
So in the ideal, so there's the real world and the ideal world. So in the ideal world, there's a perfect phone,
opposite. We could do anything.
and everything else is imperfect copies, but they're so close that we know it's a phone, right? Or that's a dog. There's a perfect dog, but that's an imperfect copy, but we know it's a dog from that. So there's a perfect idea of a horse, and so when we see a horse, we're drawing upon that perfect idea. We kind of fit in. So okay, it doesn't fit exactly, but it fits close enough. And so that's how some people think. And whenever we learn, we just relearn the knowledge we used to know. That's what some people think.
I get what they think. They think that when they were born, they learned everything when they were born, but they didn't, so they had to go to school.
No, they believe that they already knew everything. They
Yeah,
just
that's
don't.
what I
They just
mean.
don't remember it, so they go to school to remember it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Ooh, that would be a good theory. You already
Yeah.
know this. Let's just remember it.
That's Plato's theory. So okay, so
So Plato, he's mad. He thought that he knew his stuff when he was getting, made and stuff. And but he had to go to school to relearn it, but he actually didn't have to go to he had to go to school just to learn it because he thought he already had learned it, but he hadn't, so he was supposed to go to school. That's why he was sent to school.
yep. And so now let's go back to why. How do we know God exists?
Because it's a Bible. The Bible is true.
Okay,
We know the Bible is true.
but how do you know the Bible's true?
Because people think it's true.
Okay, just because people think it's true doesn't make it true.
I believe it's true and we know it's true.
Okay, so you believe it's true and we know it's true, but how do we know it's true?
Because there was
Because our
the
moms and dads.
I I know.
Okay, but
They
just
found
because
the
they say it's true
original
doesn't mean it's
copy.
true.
They found the original thing.
But just because they find the original, so let's say I find the original copy of Star Wars. Does that make it truth?
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, they found the one that Jesus wrote it.
No,
So,
Jesus didn't write the Bible though.
oh, the disciples.
The disciples, but how do we know they weren't lying?
Because they have God.
So
They have Jesus.
how do we know God exists though? So here's some essence. So here's the five basic things. So let's believe. No, this isn't Wikipedia. This is so everything that exists has an explanation of its existence, right? So this exists. Why? Why does a phone exist?
Because people make it.
Because people made it. Why did they make it?
For you can get
Call and text.
Yeah, so you can call people. So to exist, so you can call people. Why does a cup exist?
Please
So you can drink out of it. Why does a hairbrush exist?
So you can brush your hair.
Why does a pine cone exist?
To pine cone them.
To make new trees, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I
Okay.
said pine
So
cone
everything.
ones at this-
So why does a stapler exist?
Because to
So you
place
can staple
their.
paper. So everything that exists
Why does a clock?
has a purpose for its
Why does
existence,
a clock
right?
exist?
To make time, right? So
Why does a computer exist? To go on.
so the universe.
Twitter.
Tweeter.
So if everything that exists has a purpose for its existence, why is the universe here? What's the explanation for the universe?
It's a big round ball of colors.
And
Okay.
it hates everybody. I have an explanation for the computer why it was invented. So you can go on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, so
Twitter.
so so if
Twitter.
everything exists for no, it's,
What is it
no,
Twitter?
it's Twitter.
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 Okay, no, Twitter. No, you tweet on Twitter. Okay, back to the universe. Back- Okay, guys.
I know why the
Guys,
universe
guys.
was invented.
No, okay.
It's a round ball and it
remember
loves
just that
everybody,
question?
but sometimes it hates everybody when they're being bad because
Philosophy from Olivia.
and they like to be bad, so nobody likes the
Okay.
universe.
Try harder, try harder. Like Emma's listening really well.
Okay, guys. So listen.
I know what the universe
So
is.
we know that everything that exists has a reason for its existence.
I know
So
what the
we know.
universe
So the universe exists, right? So the universe must have an explanation for its existence.
I know.
Therefore, the explanation of the universe's existence is God. This is one guy's argument.
Finished.
No, I'm not finished.
It's helping him remember stuff.
When are you
I took a philosophy.
I'm gonna remember this all.
Oh no, I don't expect you to.
Quiz tomorrow, honey.
Yeah, quiz tomorrow, chapters 8
All
to
she
12.
wants to know is what does ALF stand for?
What does that stand for?
ALF?
Yes.
He
What
wants us to have every
Elf.
done
It was
by
a puppy.
tomorrow.
Puppet.
I said
No, he wants
aliens.
to have all this.
No.
all these pages done
Okay.
by
My
tomorrow.
brother knows what it is, but
That's
he
our
won't tell
test.
me.
That book is our test. I have to.
So,
So he's going back. I think you lost him, son.
This is the test.
so how do we know what's reality?
Because people say it's reality.
Okay, so how do we know that they're telling the truth?
Because
Because something
reality.
tells us in our heart that.
But how do we know you have a heart?
In the
All we
Bible,
know is you exist.
I don't know.
Think. You think.
So give
You
it a try, honey. You're
think.
doing great earlier.
So, some guy figured that, hey, there's different levels of reality.
Oh,
There is?
Adam, do you have to tell all of this tonight
Yeah,
to
why not?
8 and 9-year-olds?
We got to get them to bed.
Okay, fine. We'll finish with innate periods.
Important question. What does that stand for?
I don't know.
Okay, I know why the universe was
I just need
invented.
the L.
For
I know why
Awesome
the universe
friend.
was invented.
As in friend for life?
Adam.
I tried
Awesome,
to.
lovable
I
friend.
tried that, but he said no.
Okay, why, Olivia?
So, an
So
innate...
people
that
could
you were
live on
smart
it.
enough to
That's what I
figure it
thought.
out.
Yeah, so people could live on it.
For what?
For the universe. Why the universe was made. So people could live on it and live life.
Okay. So, what's an innate idea?
She said